Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Renaissance Grandma. I'm just popping in to do a shorter live than usual because I haven't been up for a while. I have a few things to do today. As you know, fall is, I don't know if it's officially here, but as far as I'm concerned, it's here. And there's only so many weeks left to kind of get certain things addressed before the weather changes. So the garage is going to be dealt with for a few hours today, not the whole day, and cleaning up some of the gardening plants. So for today, the gardening, just a few mishmash of different topics, just to kind of update everybody. But in terms of the garden, for those of us in a colder climate, I do find it better to clean up in the fall and do as much as you can because it just makes that whole spring season a lot easier and a lot clearer. You can focus on what you're going to plant and where you're going to plant it versus cleaning up last season stuff. Sometimes stuff happens, life happens. I'm not saying anything against that. Sometimes stuff happens and you have to just do what you can because, something happened beyond your control. But if you do have time and you do have, people that can help, cleaning up in the fall, I think is much better. So I'm going to be cleaning up in stages. By no means am I saying do the whole thing, but all the tomato plants that are pretty much only a few, a few fruit on the plant, I'm going to harvest even if they're green and cut down those plants. I'm going to uproot them out the pots. I don't There's two things can be true at the same time. We got to revisit that concept. And I know it's good to leave your roots in like maybe in ground beds to break down and decompose and that. And I do promote that. But in a container garden, I don't know if that's really feasible. It takes too long for it to break down and it's interfering with you planting something else in that same container. So I'm going to be removing, I tried it last year in the spring. It just was something that's in the way of the middle of the pot. It didn't really, I don't know if it helped or did anything beneficial. Maybe it did, but I had to wait for it to uh-oh. No, I didn't hear that, but let me read that comment in a second, Renaissance. I didn't find it useful. I found it difficult in the spring to dig out roots that have almost been waterlogged and frozen and defrost. That kind of thing when it freezes and defrosts, and then it's like it's just hard to deal with. So I'm going to be dealing with my pots, taking out the plants and the roots, shaking off the soil as much as possible. I will be topping them up with the chicken manure. Whether it's hot or cold, it's irrelevant. It's going to be sitting there for 4 to 5 months to break down over winter. And by the spring, it's going to be fine. So I'm not going to be worrying about if it's hot or cold. I'm probably going to take the hot compost, put it in these pots and let them sit. And hopefully by mid-November, everything is cleaned up that needs to be cleaned up. All the beds and the pots and the in-ground section has been amended, and then I'll re-amend them in the spring. Uh, I did not know about that Renaissance. I think I know. Actually, I heard something, but I wasn't clear on what it was. I know there's been an increased police presence, and this is part of like there's so much going on that it's almost debilitating if I'm making sense. Like it's like you're just overstimulated. There's too much on your mind. Never mind your own stuff and your own responsibilities and your it's just too much stuff. And it's causing a lot of clutter for me anyways. I don't know about anybody else. Like so I had to just step back, make sure I'm getting myself ready and prepared. The strike was a whole, uproar. The strike, and that wasn't even advertised really a lot because people didn't know about it until way like when it was gonna come up. That's canceled till January, or they have some kind of agreement till January, 90 days. I don't know if that's gonna reoccur again or not, but either way, I gotta be prepared. Good morning, Juicing with Jay. Bless up. Then there's the hurricane, and there's so much destruction. Good morning, Happy Mac. The blessings. Um, there's so much like destruction, and then you're just like, wow. And the insults to injuries through this whole process, like the hurricane that is, when you see how much money is being spent on other places and other peoples and other things, and then they're being offered $750. It's equivalent to telling I don't know how to put this into words. I'm just to be honest, I'm all over the place today. I'm just like all over the place. It's so upsetting. It's so insulting. It's so despicable. $750. Maybe that's appealing if you're just dealing with, something minor. But something so major, like that can't even do nothing. Like the 750 can't do anything. So you're offering me something that can't do anything. And and you want me to be thankful? W- When somebody can't do anything more, you are thankful. But when you know they're doing more for other people, I don't think there's a thankfulness. Uh, you know, yeah. And exactly, Renaissance. We got to harvest things before it gets too cold, and then it's shifting. So I made some decisions to leave the red okra out, but there's not anything really growing. So I may not get seeds this year. I probably should have kept the first wave, let one of them go to seed and then keep going, because the weather was not very ideal for okra over here this season. It was challenging. I left one green one on there. It's huge. I'm leaving it there to dry out and to go to the end to use for seeds, because we all know how important seeds are, because you don't know what's going to happen from one minute to the next with logistics and shipping and receiving. So most of us have seeds, so I'm not even concerned. I know we got a lot of seeds, and I got my orders, which I'm going to edit those videos to show you what I got. I got some new plants and new things that I want to focus on. What I did regret, and I've talked about this before, I do want to focus more on winter squash, because winter squash can last weeks and months in a cold room or pantry, and you could be eating all winter long. I'm only seeing one Kusha out there with some teeth marks. I tried to hide it behind the shrubs, but they obviously found it. But I didn't get good results. The weather wasn't ideal. The tree fell on my side, and that just delayed me for a couple of days. It wasn't a long delay, but it just kind of crushed the momentum. And I never really kind of recovered from that. And I just kind of planted things any which where, and it was just a little bit much. It kind of took the wind out my sails, if I'm honest. But it's nobody's fault, and the weather didn't help either. Um, but I have some sweet potatoes that I bought that I was gonna eat. I haven't eaten them yet. I could not get any of my sweet potatoes to really sprout. Let me go get the sweet potato and show you what's going on, because you're gonna be like, "What? I can't plant it now." So can someone tell me what to do with these? Can I overwinter them in a pot in the house? Let me show you, because this is ridiculous. You have to see this. This is ridiculous. When you see what's going on in my kitchen. Okay. You have to see this. I should have brought it earlier, but you guys have to see this. This is ridiculous. I could not get anything to sprout. Let me try to. This potato slips are at least 12 inches, if not longer. This potato is sprouting, and this is one of the 4 and 5 potatoes that I did. I'm going to eat, make potato fries with them. Haven't got around to it. And they're all sprouting, these long sprouts. Can I put these in water for the whole winter, or is that's too long? Like, what should I do with this? Is it worth keep? Oh, this whole thing fell off. This whole thing fell off. This is ridiculous. I don't want to still eat this potato. I want to cut off that shrivel up piece and make my fries. Could not get slips to slip. All I tried. And now that I'm not trying, they're slipping. Crazy. But at least I know that the potatoes are real and they're good. They haven't been sprayed. So that's a good thing. But get your stuff ready. Just be ready. Between the hurricane, it's quite disgusting and sad. And because I've worked in not for profit and those kind of industries and volunteered most of my life, and even right now seeing what's going on over here with certain things, it's, you know, that there's politics even with aid, and there's politics with who gets aid and where the aid is focused on, and who gets access to the aid more than others, and it really causes a lot of friction in different, towns, different groups, different people, because there's not equality in the disbursement of the aid. So just be mindful of what you're seeing, and just, you know, even with this, there's always going to be fraud and always going to be corruption. So just, you know, be mindful. Stick it in some dirt and keep it over the winter. I never overwintered. Yeah, I don't know. That happened to my soup. Like, I'm gonna plant it in some. I brought in my lemongrass, one of them. The other one I'm trying to bring in as well. I'm trying to hose off all the soil because we don't want no bugs. Good day, Urban. Good day, Odom. Sorry, Odom. So I'm trying to get that sorted out. I know people have planted potatoes in the winter in their homes, but it's pretty much the fall. I don't know if they've planted them this early, so I'm not sure, but I'll certainly try and put them in a pot and see. I don't want them to really form potatoes, so hopefully they won't because they have to go outside, but this is a healthy slip. Like, the potatoes are, I have 4 or 5 potatoes to make some fall dishes, and they're doing their own thing. So that's about it for the fall. Now, I got to update you guys on the previous story. A few weeks ago I mentioned that I was going to go with a friend to the condo to do an inspection, and the hey Psalms, the person living there wasn't going to be there, and I was going to go with her and the contractor and to check for the mold, or he said there was mold on the bathroom doors, if you remember that story a few weeks ago. So we went on that day when I talked to you about it. That Saturday, I finished the live, got going, met her up, and then we drove. She drove with me in her car to good day, David, to the condo, and the contractor met us there. So told you guys, I said and I told her, I said I have a feeling we're gonna be on recording. There's gonna be cameras in his unit, so just be on your P's and Q's. Let me tell you, there was cameras, and I said to them, let's just watch what we say, because we're probably gonna be recorded, audible, audio and the video. So we went to the place, and we looked at other things besides the doors, because if you're gonna do an inspection, you do an inspection. I guess he was offended and upset because, we went to other places. Yeah, we did. If we booked a time with a contractor, we're going to check all the other spaces to make sure that there's nothing else that's being damaged, because obviously you're doing something kind of shady, and to make sure that, we inspect it, because people's time is valuable. He's not going to come every one complaint and then the guy's going to drive all the way down there. It's not nearby. It's like he lives on the other side of Ontario pretty much, and we're going to the other side. So you got to respect people's time. And if we're doing an inspection, that means we're doing an inspection. So I was there with the iPad, and I'm recording from the hallway before the doors open. I'm recording. A long text was sent to her at some point, um, saying who's a third person and they're recording. I had a mask on just because I didn't want my face to be in his shots, because I knew. So the third person, I was the third person. Yeah, I was recording, because if the tenant is not there when we're in your house, I'm going to record everything to make sure that there's no he said, she said, because we all know how that goes. So we recorded everything. It came, and then he had the audacity to send a clip of us being recorded and sent it to her with a clip of us looking at the air vent and the filter, like it's not a furnace, but the filter, air filter, and all the dust, and we're saying like this is not being upkept and it's not healthy. And we're talking, And he sent her the video clip, and then she showed me. I'm like, and how dare you record in my home? But you're recording us recording complaining, and you sent the video clip. Like, duh. And then we noticed a few things. So I know some people are OCD and they just don't like having the bathroom door open. I know, like, even Jamaicans, like the door has to be shut. But in Jamaica, there's usually a window in the bathroom, so there's ventilation. Over here in North America, most people don't have a window in their bathroom. Most people, not some houses do, depending. Maybe the master bedroom does, but not every bathroom in your home has a window. That's just the way it is in most. I've been to Europe. I've been like, yeah, most places there's not always a window in the bathroom. So if you're gonna keep the door closed, so we got there at about 10 o'clock, 10:30 ish after my live, maybe 11 o'clock. The door was the two bathrooms. The first bathroom by the entrance, the door was closed. We could still see water on the tiles, so it was very moist in there. The contractor looked, he goes, "This is not mold, this is moisture damage because it's just too wet in here." So then we checked the ventilation fan up top. It doesn't seem to be sucking out the air the way that we feel it should, so it's going to be looked at. Actually, we have to look at it because the building, when we went to the desk with her, they're saying, "Oh no, that's the owner. It's not the building management does that. It's inside the unit. That's your responsibility." But it's affected by the HVAC. Don't you guys know? So I don't know what's going to happen with that. There has to be another appointment, I guess. I don't know if it was done yet for the guy to go back and change the fan in the bathroom. We went to the other bathroom, the master bathroom, and same thing. The doors closed. This is after the person was told via text to keep the bathroom door open. Hey, Hudson, door, because you have to ventilate. So that door has the same kind of starting of the water damage. This man wants the bathroom door changed. Well, then you can pay for it because you're the one creating the damage. The dryer vent that takes the lint from the dryer, there's a container or something up top in the ceiling that you have to go up and empty. The building empties it once a year, but for your own safety, you probably should empty it and vacuum it out more often. So we emptied out that as well. The air intake, the filter was dirty. We made some, some notes, and the man was just carrying on the text, carrying on. And the person that we have as a spy on that floor, because it's a friend of mine, a friend of the mutual friend, she saw us at the elevator, came down. She actually knows the contractor as well. It's small world. And we asked her about the key because the guy's always leaving the key in the door. So she said, "Oh, every week." I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Every week," because she works these crazy shifts. So sometimes she's coming home at 2, 3 in the morning, and the key is in the door. Like somebody doesn't remember to take the key out the door, and so there's some kind of problem there. I don't know what's going on, but something's a little weird because the door is left unsecured multiple times. She says at least once or twice a week. She don't even bother knock on the door to tell him that the key's in the door because he was so rude to her before and like, What do you?" So that's the story for that. And there's been some after he's asking us not to record, and it's like, we're going to record. If you're not home, we're going to record from the time we open the door, and the whole time we're in your unit, we're going to record. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, because we know how this thing work. And someone will say, "Oh, something's missing," and something's nope. We move like a three, like when we're glued together around the place. We're always there together, and I'm recording exactly what was observed and what the damage is, and any discussion was recorded, and then we took it off at the elevator. So that's what happened with that person. That was these people are really weird. So he got mad that I was recording, but he was recording us recording. So tell me who's at fault. If you're doing the same thing we're doing, how are we wrong and you're right? Anyways, back to real life. So I also I'm trying to find, I mentioned to you all about this farm project that we can potentially do over here, and there's other people doing it. The same farm that I mentioned in Toronto has a similar thing, and they have a CSA as well. So I'm trying to do something on my side of the city, and it's $1,000 to lease the land for the season. So I'm looking for sponsors. I'm trying to see what the interest is, because people say they want to do something and then they don't want to do it, or they want to pay for the produce. I checked the prices for the CSA as well. It's pretty pricey, but at the same time, when you add up what you're spending at the store anyways, or if you would buy organic only produce, it's pretty much in line, or you can make it a little cheaper. So I will be looking at the pricing and volunteers, to see how that would work. If I do attempt to try this season, well, 2025 season, good day to you, Wellness with Frugal Mama. I will it will just be like a testing for the first season. And then I would have to probably open up a not for profit or for profit, however I want to do it, farm project, and apply for funding and grants to hire staff, hire field workers, and that kind of thing, and just have it as a proper business. And then they would have to, the not for profit would have to pay me for what I'm doing, because ain't nobody got time for no volunteer. We got bills and stuff to pay, so that time would have to be recuperated monetarily, but you're doing something that's going to help the community, give them access to fresh food. So I'm trying to figure out how that's going to work. I did get connected with somebody else randomly. I saw something happening at near my parents' home, and I drove around to another aspect of the park. There's another entrance that's closer to what I was seeing in that park. So I drove around to that other entrance. I was walking towards where the action was happening, and this guy was at his truck, and he was kind of looking. I said, "Hey, good morning," to him. He's like, "Morning," and he's like, "Oh, like, are you going over there?" I said, "Yeah, I'm nosy. I want to see what's going on. What's this about?" And then he goes, "Oh, and then he's part of the programming." And I never heard of them. I guess it's the Lions Club. And when I looked it up, it's like U.S., Canada, Caribbean. It's all across the globe. This Lions Club, and what they're doing in our particular community and the programs and stuff. So I did exchange numbers and Instagram and that kind of thing. And my sister got his information, and he sent us some information of what they do and what they're about, because I wasn't sure if it's like, what they're involved in. So they're also going to be potentially a good partner, because I mentioned that I'm into, farming and the gardening. I thought you're going to put a garden here. We're planting trees. I said, I want a plant that's going to feed the people. And he goes, "Oh, we're trying to do that and do a greenhouse, and we have the funding, and we have, and I'm like, what?" So they have funding for a greenhouse, and they want to grow all year long. So I was like, ding, 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 like, what? This is exactly what I'm interested in, providing food all year long. And I said, "Oh, that's what I'm into. So if that's what you're doing, I can, partner with you on that, and we can work together. Because if I can do the outdoor summer program and then be involved in your winter indoor growing program, we can provide food for, multiple communities, because there'll be ample food, and be teaching, with the high school or the middle schools, teaching these skills, and helping them to be interested in jobs in this kind of field, because you can become, a scientist or whatever you want to become. There's a lot of job opportunities and career opportunities in agriculture. So we had a good talk. He was like, "I better get going, because they're waiting for him to come," and we're just sitting there talking, and I like what I heard. I like the vibe I got off of him. So he seems like a genuine person and really into the community work. So potentially there's been connections made that will tie back into that project that I'm thinking about doing. So I'm just trying to work out all the kinks and see how that's going to go, and take it from there, because I know that there's another property that's doing that, and it's also doing chickens, and they're doing beehives. And those are also other skills and other careers that some of these kids can be exposed to and be interested in, to get trained in that. So that's what I'm doing over here. I'm not really doing a fall garden. I did drop some seeds, but these squirrels just be digging up pots left and right, and it's just, yeah. So I'm looking for the nail gun so we can finish the covers for all the other beds, And even I have some box, like some, I guess whatever you call them, frames that need to be reinforced to put over sections of the container garden, so that way I can just protect the pots from being dug up multiple times. Like the spinach was dug up, like so I don't know if I want to get any spinach. They just literally turned everything upside down. And it's the grace of God that I haven't been around just chopping squirrels just left, right, and center. It's just going down the street and just chopping them up because it just irritate my spirit. You can't get no food because they keep digging up the stuff. They keep biting things, one bite, and then they just leave it. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be working on this fall. Just getting stuff cleaned up, amending the pots, amending the beds, and building those structures, because next spring I'm not having the same problems. I have to have everything covered up because they'll chew the eggplants, the bell pepper, anything that you're growing, they're just destroying it. Never mind the raccoon, the possums, and the skunk. So I don't have enough space to be growing things in large amounts. So whatever I do grow needs to be protected. So that's what I'm working on for the spring. There was another heavy rainfall, still a lot of water damage. Um, it's this damage after damage after damage that people are experiencing here. The weather is crazy. I don't know how to explain it, but there's a lot of damage. So I'm gonna have to, when I when the guy is available, like I asked him to come and fix things. He came and looked at the jobs, and I haven't seen him yet. So winter is coming, and you can't do certain jobs late in the season. Concrete needs time to cure. Like, I need concrete work done. I wanted to get some painting. I said, forget it. I'm not going to do it. The quote was too high. I'm better off just buying a spray gun and just doing it section by section myself, because these people want to charge you, and the price was only for labor. It didn't even include the materials. That was separate and above the quote that I got. I'm just like, Lord, Lord, help me. So mail the squirrels to Mike. Oh my gosh. So that's what I'm doing. I hope everybody's still, I know for me in the fall, it's kind of like you get a little weary because like, oh my God, you've been working, working, working. And I'm gonna get a rest because basically outdoor is gonna be finished. But I am gonna try to do what I did before and cover the one bed with plastic. I have some bok choy that's been started, but the squirrels kind of got some of them. I'm gonna see if that will stay in the hoop coop slash cold frame and still grow. And I have another one that I'm going to assemble today. I'm supposed to do it last week, but I didn't have time. And it's like a pop-up greenhouse, and put it over my salad bar on the side of my house to see if the squirrels will stop digging up my pots there. Hopefully they will, and they won't damage the plastic, and see if that can be a lettuce salad bar throughout the winter. Maybe not all winter, but at least till December. And then when it gets really cold, I guess maybe those things will just stop growing. But I'm trying to grow food even throughout the winter before I even attempt the indoor garden again. The indoor garden is fine, but um it's a bit easier to do it outside, I think. I have a lot of power outages over here, like constantly the power's going on and off. And there's something to do with the transformer not too far from us, because only us on that particular transformer are always getting these power outages. So I have to be always resetting the hydroponics unit. It's a bit annoying. Also, I don't know if you guys heard, that reminds me that Arrow Garden is going out of business. I saw my this lady that I watch who does hydroponics, a lot of indoor gardening. She mentioned it because that's basically her channel is all about pretty much that. She hasn't been on in a long time. She hasn't done a video in months, but she did pop up and say that they're going out of business, and there's some deadlines to the warranties, and anything new bought after a certain date would only have a warranty till a certain. You got to look it up yourself and figure out. But they're going out of business, so I don't know if that means clearance items. Um, I think what happened from what she was saying, and I didn't research anything yet myself, but there's so much competition with hydroponic kits. Like you go on Amazon and there's 50 million companies. And as you know, I have them, but I don't have Aero Garden. I have other brands, and they're pretty much the same. They're probably all made in China. So there's a lot of knockoffs, and the knockoffs are much more affordable. And even if it does break, you can just buy another one, and it's not breaking the bank. The Aero Gardens, I don't think there's anything less than 75, $80 over here. And those are for the teeny tiny herbal ones, which can't even grow very much. So I don't know. And also, most of the people that I am watching on social media, Aero gardens are just to start seeds and maybe put them outside. If you're really growing indoors, they're using the tower gardens. I know G Mama got like another unit, a big unit, which is like, I don't know what you call it, but Elysis, she has that unit. There's a couple of other brands that people are using, and I know Mike Chaotic, he's even making his own units out of totes. He's makes bigger units to hold bigger plants. So I don't think Aero Garden kept up with the demand or the needs of people who are really interested in growing indoors. I don't think, and I think they tried to do it now, but it didn't take off and it's kind of late in the game. So unfortunately, you got to keep up because the amount of people that I watch that do hydroponics, when I think about it, I don't think they're really heavy with the AeroGuard. Like they have them to start seeds and up pot them somewhere else. But Aero Garden hasn't really kept up with the demand of people really wanting to. Even there's Click and Grow that provide this already seeds in the pod. Like there's other companies that have been changing the game and they haven't kept up. So if you want some Aero Gardens for yourself, because as I learned, you can't, if you're going to grow certain things to full size, you can't grow in all the spaces in your Aero Garden. Like I did my first year, I had all 12 spots filled up. No, you could probably only use 6 if you're growing like a lettuce and things to the full size. So you're going to need more units if you're going to be really, growing heavily. So now's the time to probably check in and buy them. And I use their fertilizer. So I hope they're going to keep. I'm going to just buy some more of their liquid feed, to be honest. Buy it before it's gone. Um, there's other brands, but I think Aero Garden is the only one that has like the one mix. It's not this mix and another mix. You get a mix together. I don't like to have to mix stuff. It just makes it to me more complicated. But anyways, what else is there to update you guys on? I think there's still some seed sales going on for the most part. Is the chat still going? I think it's still there, but maybe because it's just quiet. I don't see anything. I don't know if it's my internet that's slow or, but there's some seed sales still going on. So, if you need to stock up, stock up. If you're going to stock up on seeds, this is just my opinion. Certain plants give you seeds every year. Like I'm not going to ever buy okra seeds again from that particular variety of okra. Once you buy the seeds once and you leave one pot to go to seed, you're pretty much fine. But if you're talking about brassicas and your bok choys and cabbages, they seed biannually, so every second year. And some people don't have the time and space to let something like that sit and then go to seed. So those are the types of seeds you probably need to stock up on. So your Swiss chards, your brassicas, bok choy, pak choy, all the different varieties of pak choy. Those are the ones you probably need to buy. I have let Swiss chard go to seed because it's easier, and I've let a cabbage go to seed, but it is taking up space. It's taking up a pot or a in ground. One year I did it in ground. It's taking up space. And in the spring, now you're planting new stuff, and then you have to leave that to finish seeding. And potentially that plant is going to attract bugs and infestation. So you're kind of playing with fire if you don't have a lot of space. If you have a lot of space, then by all means, plant it in a certain spot because that's the one you're going to let go to seed. You have to plan things almost a year ahead. So this year, I'm not doing that. This fall for next season, I'm not doing that. Any Swiss chard, I'm just going to make sure I do have seeds that I bought. Plus I have seeds that I harvested myself that are still viable. I'm not going to, hey, good morning, bushcrafter. I'm not going to be letting them go to seed because I do have access to seeds. Does that mean I don't know how to do it? I know how to let something go to seed. I know how to plan it out and how to harvest the seeds. I don't need to do that right now, so I'm not going to worry about it. Now, if I do the larger garden at the farm property, then I would probably leave things over winter to seed in particular spots to do that. But when you have options, you got to use your time and your space wisely. So for those of you who think that you have to make everything go to seed, I don't really believe that. You can just keep buying the seeds. If the seeds are getting expensive, then maybe it's beneficial that you let one or two of particular species go to seed and harvest the seeds and pick a good specimen. Don't pick the sickly small one. You're going to have to sacrifice a good specimen and let that go to seed. Also, what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks, I did can some greens. So the first batch, I haven't posted on Instagram yet. I'll probably do it today. I've been meaning to post it. So I got 5 cans of callaloo that are canned. This week, I canned twice in this work week. So I went to bed late 2 nights, and I think it was Tuesday night, the pot wasn't going to pressure, and I was like, "Oh my god." So it finally went to pressure. Thanks for everyone's little tips because I was panicking. But I didn't finish canning until I went to lay on the couch at about, because I wasn't at my house, at my parents' house, at about maybe 1 o'clock, and then, we turned it off and had to let it depressurize. I woke up at about 4 and took them out of the pot to go onto the rack. Most of them were already sealed. Then we had cooked too many greens, so the following day, we added more to make another big batch. So the Tuesday batch was 15 jars. The Wednesday batch was 12 jars of mixed greens. So collards, kale, and spinach, all, Swiss chard, all kind of mixed up with some, seasonings and stuff like that. So that's been done. So I'm now going to be doing other. So basically, you've created a canning monster because I'm going to be canning everything but the kitchen sink and making sure that I have food to eat that is healthy and I know what's in it. There's no preservatives, very little salt. I use like very little salt and just some general seasonings. And then once we heat it up, you can just add whatever. Like we eat, callaloo with saltfish, or you'd have, other things like that. You can make your, your dumpling, your festival, your ground provisions, and add it after the fact and kind of make a meal. So that's what I've been doing this week is canning, and it's a whole family affair because I got them to harvest the greens. I harvested my greens. We brought them together. My dad cut them all up and, destemmed them, did all that stuff, had them in the pot. And so I would go over and cook them down slightly, wilt them, and then put them in the container and can them. Now that I've been canning, it's not scary. So thank you to all of you who were been doing videos and just tips and training. It's really been helpful. Get a book though. You have to follow the book and follow the recipe and the ratios. But now that I've been doing it, it's not scary. It's very comfortable. It's very doable. On a work night after work, you can come home, cook something in bulk, eat your dinner, put the rest to can, and just, it's been a very productive couple of weeks. So don't just grow your food and waste it. Like freeze some of it, yes, but you need to preserve them as long as possible. With this strike that happened and now it's kind of canceled, it got us, it shook us up a bit. It shook us up a bit. And everyone was like, oh, not again, 2020 all over again. And it was very traumatic for a lot of people because it, brought back that stress. And I told everybody that I could tell on my group, so listen, there's a strike. It's on as of today, October the 1st. Stock up on what you can, have your essentials, and just have them on hand just in case, because we don't know what's going on. Some people took heed, some people are, waiting to hear what's going to happen. What are you waiting for? When I went shopping on Tuesday night, because Monday was a holiday over here, um the Costco was pretty much empty. The crowd that was in Costco was not people. All the aisles were full of skids that they're going to start loading. I don't know why they had so many. I've never gone to Costco and I saw so many skids just blocking the aisles. So why do you have so, like, it got me like, is it just the restocking for fall or is it like a conspiracy? I don't know. But they had all bunch of stuff. So I just bought stuff. I would rather buy stuff now when there's no crowd, there's no pressure, there's no panic buying, versus waiting to kind of see before you go. No, I so somebody called me. We're like, I go, you're supposed to have enough to last you for. I said 3 months, anyways, like 3 months, regardless. Oh, you prison? Yeah, I'm glad it got canceled. It's hard to. Oh, it's hard to find toilet. This is what I'm saying, and I'm like, when something is happening, why are you buying so much toilet paper? Like I bought toilet paper because I actually needed it. This when I had the flood, I kind of stopped stocking up and I let things kind of go down because you have to get things addressed. They haven't been addressed. The work hasn't been done anyway, so I'm just stocking up again anyways. But why are you what's toilet paper going to do for you? There's something wrong with the psychological something's wrong with people's psyche. Do you need toilet paper? Yeah, but to go and rush and buy all the toilet paper, what's that going to do? If you ask anybody in the hurricane right now, they ain't asking for toilet paper. I see them getting generators and gas and food and like water. What's the toilet paper going to do for you? Like, this is ridiculous. Something's wrong with people. And paper towel, what's that going to do? Make it easier to wipe things up and not have to. Nah, man, make it make sense. Make it make sense. But that just shows you the same thing I'm talking about. Some people were like, shoot, I didn't know there was a strike happening, and to go and scramble around now. And they were like, why did I let myself get back to this point again after I learned what happened in 20? Exactly. Why did we let ourselves get back to this point? We're getting complacent and we're getting comfortable. If you have 3 months worth of stuff, good for you. Some people can go beyond that, some people cannot. But at least have 3 months of stuff because you got people relying on you. Some people got their kids, their grandchildren, elderly people. You got people relying on you. You can't be out in the stores fighting and karate chopping people for toilet paper. Like, we know what happens. It's not just about having a supply, it's about encountering these crazies in the store who will fight you for the last of something because it's the last. I have to have it. They don't even want it. They don't even eat bacon, but they're fighting because people are crazy. Toilet paper is made here. And that made me laugh. I didn't even realize until Can't Stop Walking was saying it's made here. Like, why are you what's the problem? And cut up old clothes. And sometimes you just have to get a bidet or get that they have the portable bidets like a water bottle and wash your behind. You need water, obviously, but wash your behind. Like the paper is gonna run out eventually. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I can get toilet paper, am I gonna buy it? Yeah. But my focus was on food. So I have been stocking up from before. I have my bucket of baking soda, which is good to clean stuff with. I have my bucket of kidney beans. I have some other bean. I think it's black eyed peas. I'm not sure which bean it is. Somebody gave it to me. I have some other bean. I'm going to buy a big batch of navy beans. I want to start canning my own baked beans. It's like the bush kind, but your own recipe. I found a recipe. I'm like, oh, since I'm pressure canning, I'm going to be making my own baked beans. I have rice. I have brown basmati, regular basmati. I have parboiled rice. I have cornmeal. I have oats. I'm going to buy some more oats. Um, I'm going to start buying like the bulgur and the furio, the ancient grains. I have flour. So I would be okay for a few weeks, but I could get some more stuff. I'm going to start buying the wheat berries. I think Hudson gets those, and I know Brampton Gardner mentioned something here. I'm going to buy the wheat berries and I'm going to grind them as I need them because flour gets rancid very quickly. But I'm going to start living my life that way. I'm not running for paper towel. Do I have some? Yeah, but I'm not running for that. I stocked up on water. I went to the Costco, got toilet paper. I got several jugs of water because again, I had to restock anyways. And I'm going to go back again and get several more jugs of water. And the key point is you're going to need backup battery power because my pump for my water died. I had to charge it up. People need generators. I think for those of you who watched a clip, Jegs put up a video, like a 3-minute video just giving an update that he's okay, his family's okay after the storm. And he has a fridge and about 3 deep freezers, and he had his generator running to keep them, I think it was rotating, one freezer and then the other freezer, and then his family was not allowed to open any of the freezers, keep them shut. If you don't have to go in there, like it was strict because he didn't need the food to go ruined and be thrown away. Costs money to fill a freezer. So he had the generator running. I think it sounded like a gas one because it was loud. So again, do you have extra gas to run the generator? People were lining up, I think, in one of the cities for the hurricane, lining up for gas at the gas tank, the gas pump, sorry, not in their car, like walking with the jug to go fill it up. And the line was wrapped around the place. I don't have extra gas. Mine's finished. So I'm gonna probably some point during the winter months put aside some money and just fill up. I have a big, huge jug. Fill up that jug. I have also two empty jugs for water. They're the blue ones, like the military kind. I'm gonna rinse those out and fill them with water and put them in the garage. Blessings, Lashes Journey. Focus on the things that you are actually gonna save your life. Portable heaters. I'm in Canada. Kerosene heaters, propane heaters, ways to cook outside, ways to be hygienic. Like if you haven't learned from this current tragedy, I don't know what to tell you. But toilet paper is not going to help you. It's not going to help you. You look at what people are focusing on, and it's food, water, gasoline, generators. People need generators to run the stuff in their home. You cannot put on the microwave unless you know how to use a outdoor open flame. You're used to just pressing buttons. If you're not used to cooking outdoors and doing those kind of things, you better start practicing now, because when the power goes out, you're not going to even know what to do. What are you going to do? You can't even know. You don't even know how to make coffee the old-fashioned way on a percolator and a pot. Hold on, let me see the chat. Simple stuff. So Virginia's saying, anytime I go to the store, I pick up something extra: canned good, water, toothpaste, soap, etc. Just get something if it is no more than a bag of beans. Beans can feed you for a long time. Box of tea, oatmeal, etc. from Dollar Tree. That's what I've been doing. And keep track of what you have. Store them properly, because mice be chewing through all kind of foolishness. So store them properly. Most of the gas now made with ethanol don't last long if you get that too. It evaporates. That's why you don't want to buy too much gas. So it's like, I don't know if who knows how to do this stuff, but you got to buy some gas, at least something to tie you over for your generator. But maybe you shouldn't stock up because it's gonna evaporate. I know for sure we have a big metal drum of kerosene oil that my dad bought how many umpteen years ago. And now that we're into prepping, we're interested in what he has. And he has a lot of stuff. And it wasn't really for prepping. It was like for like camping and that kind of, thing. But that's what it is. Camping and off-grid living supplies are what's gonna tie you over. And I stocked up on charcoal during the pandemic. Charcoal, I keep my propane tank filled up, but I can cook on my barbecue. It's a dual barbecue. It's charcoal only or propane or both at the same time, whatever you want to do. I decided when I was upgrading, because mine was broken, that would be a better use. Yeah, it's annoying to start the charcoal, but I don't need to have the propane. And I have two huge bags of charcoal, and I know how to cook on it and not use a lot of charcoal, just enough to really cook the food properly. And I can put the pot on there if worse comes to worse, if I don't want to use the propane, and put the pot on the side burner. So you kind of learn, butane supplies. They're always on sale at these places. Um, you have to just do what's in your budget and just figure out, if I can't heat up my food, can I open a can of cold tuna and a cold whatever and eat it? You might have to, but it's better to practice these things now so you know how to make a meal outside. Um, I stack wood just in case I need to cook. Exactly. I have wood at the back. I've never used my fireplace, but I know how to start a fire and make it in the cooking. I have a cooking pit, and I can take it out of the shed and put the wood in there and start a fire. And there's a grill that goes on top, and you can, cook something. You need to spend the time. I think the common denominator in all that we've seen in the news this week, maybe the last 2 weeks, is nobody's coming to save you. We've seen roads, I'm talking not no side roads, major roads and roadways and highways washed away. No vehicle can go on there. I saw a clip, I don't know if it was Carbon Q's Instagram or somebody else's, of people on horseback going up these rocky terrain because ain't no vehicle can go up there with donkeys, leading donkeys, and the donkeys are carrying the loads and supplies. Who can knows how to ride a horse? Like, these are skills that some of us don't even have. I've ridden a horse, but don't ask me to go and ride a horse and direct it because I it's directing me pretty much because I'm scared to death when I was on it. It's a huge beast, and if they don't want you on their back, they can just throw you off. Never mind going through these rocky terrains. That's a skill. I don't know how to ride a horse like that to go up and help somebody up on the hillside and carry a donkey and no sir. Somebody another person was showing a helicopter coming and they had a mirror to direct and say, "Hey, I'm here. Help, help." I don't think we're really prepared. And no matter how much you prepare, you're not prepared. But when you're seeing people and what they're dealing with, and you're like, okay, I got food, I got water, at least I got these things. At least you have more than somebody else. People who are aged and elderly and seeing them stranded. They can't get out and people can't get to them. Do your elders have what they need in their home to sustain them until help can get to them? Do you have a way to communicate? Because the amount of people without communication, it's scary. I believe Mr. Babbitt doesn't have power all now, and we're just hearing things from people who can get in contact with him. It's not this ain't no joke, guys, and I'm sure you guys know it's not a joke. But for our family and friends who think this is oh well, it's over there, it's not going to happen over here. Yeah, not sure. And there's all kind of conspiracies talking about where the storm hit and the likelihood of a storm hitting there, which to me sounds believable. It does sound believable because with these sudden changes of weather patterns, you have to kind of wonder. And then you're only offering $750. What's that going to do? That's adding insult to injury. But who am I? Just somebody here chit chattering. What do I know? What do I know? But I know where the money is not going because it's going all over to other places. I just, it doesn't make sense to me. I think taxpayers should benefit from the taxes that they're paying, and that should be the focus when something happens. And it's not the first time. I think this has been going on in my mind since Katrina. That's the earliest I can remember of things not being sent to where it's supposed to go, and people not getting the help that they need. But nobody thinks it's going to be their turn, and your turn is coming. That's all I gotta say. So make sure you have what you need and you have another place to go because it's getting real out here. And election season is here and campaigns and so forth and who's fighting with who. I'm like, is this Jamaica? Because in Jamaica, like it's like you're either red or you're the blue. Is it red or green? I can't remember. What was it, Lashes? The JLP and the PNP. And if you're wearing the wrong colors in the wrong neighborhood, because that's a JLP neighborhood, and you're wearing the PNP colors, war. I'm seeing the same thing in the social media on the US side. I'm like, what's happening? If you're on this person's side, then you ain't black. If you're on that person's side, then I can't keep up. I really can't keep up. I don't know how it's so. eh, I don't know what's going on. I think a lot of y'all are crazy. Like, keep it about the issues and about that. Then it could be a lot cleaner. But everyone's going into everyone's back door, backyard, personal business, who said what said, and bringing up things that have nothing to do with nothing. It's just stirring up fighting. and there's enough fighting going on. We don't need to add to it. So I'm just hanging back and eating my cereal and letting everybody else fight because I ain't got time for that. I don't have the energy for that. So I'll just sit back and watch, and when it all settles, then we can go back to regular living. But right now, it's just volatile in these streets. Volatile in these streets. So I'm gonna wrap it up because I gotta go get to the garage cleaning and stuff to do. But make sure you're supporting good content that's out here and that's helping you and growing. I know that most people took a break this summer, well, late summer. So you'll be seeing us popping up again. I had my hands full, so I had to just focus on that. It's a little easier now, but there's still some issues to be resolved. So my hands are still kind of full, but I'm trying to push out the content. I have a whole bunch of videos in the queue to edit, just haven't got a chance to get them edited. But I am canning, so that's good. So once I get those sorted out, I will get them out to you guys because there's a whole bunch just sitting there. But make sure you're connected to me on Instagram. I do post, little things here and there more frequently. I'm on TikTok, kind of, sort of, but I haven't really been pushing a lot of content. But I'm over there now as well, trying to keep track. So I'm around, just not always doing a live. Some of those people who bought, just 1 second here. Some of those people who bought TP in bulk are the same ones who bought it in 2020 in hopes that they could upcharge it and sell it back in the bushes. Ridiculous. But keep stocking up. I am seeing all you are harvesting. I'm in the bushes most times. Sometimes I say hi, sometimes I don't. But just keep up with what you're doing. Keep going. Keep as healthy as possible. I saw a article. It just was off-putting. Even still in 2024, people are being denied organ transplants and stuff if they haven't gotten, boosters and all kind of different things, which I don't understand how that's even still a thing when there's so much evidence about what's happened and the inaccuracies and of the claims that were made, but they're denying you of treatment, and some people got the thing as a result and they got worse. So keep as healthy as possible because depending on what you're going to choose for yourself, you may be denied access to medical treatments. And that's the way that it's panning out. Even though things have been exposed, the system is still in place and that's the way it is, and they're not budging from certain requirements. So read between the lines. You're going to have to dig a little deeper on that, but that's what's going on in a few places. I was surprised to hear that. So you need to be very mindful of how you're treating your body, because if you think you're going to get free access all the time, it's going to continue. There's going to be more and more requirements that are going to be placed on you to access. So get familiar with your herbs and the foraging and the different tea blends that you can make and what's going on, because yeah, doors are slowly being shut. So just be mindful. And again, as always, I tell you, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, but make sure you're preparing weekly, buying a little extra. Don't be making it obvious and all of a sudden you're buying 50 zillion things at one time. You got to be discreet about what you're doing. What's that quote? Be mindful, be demure, be intentional, be discreet, be mindful, because eyes are watching. So be careful what you're doing and how you're doing it, and don't make it obvious, because I am seeing and people are saying that, you know, people want to come to theirs to get their stuff. There's a lot of looting I saw going on. I don't know how true it is, but people are saying that they have to walk with their tool, their pew pew. And one person said that the sheriff told them safety off. So basically say you ain't got no time to even turn the safety off. So walk with it off. And people are looting and taking what they want because you prepared, but they did not. So it brings out the ugly in people. So just be careful, be mindful, and keep doing what you're doing, but be discreet about it. Don't be the one on the street that's known to have extra. As far as I'm concerned, I have nothing. And if you ask me, I'm going to say I have nothing. Because when it comes down to it, when you're in need, they're not going to help you. All right. Be blessed, everybody. Take care. I'll see you soon.